Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am back with part 2 of our September quilt block of the month. If you're not familiar with this series, I have a playlist link in the description of this video, also on the end screen. I've been doing a quilt block of the month each month this year. This is 2024. It ends in December, so if you're watching after December 2024, the whole series is sitting there waiting for you, and you can get caught up at your leisure and do all 12 blocks. But this is block number 9, part 2. In part 1, we made the sailboat block. This measures 9 inches wide by 10 tall. If you do not want to make this specialty block, you don't have to. Just cut a piece of fabric. Maybe you have a fabric panel that you can use, or just any big print. It's a good time for a large print, and you just want to cut a piece 9 by 10. We are going to be putting the entire block together today. I give you the sizes of the pieces as we go, so get a piece of paper and a pencil and take down some notes. We are going to start right here. We're going to sew these two pieces together. This piece is 2.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. This piece is 8.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And don't forget, you can swap out if you want. You don't have to follow my exact layout. But I'm going with what I already printed out, so we're going to sew this together right here. We have this. Let's move this over. Let's work on this right here. You have two 2-inch squares. I put at least one 2-inch square in every scrappy block that we've been doing. So two 2-inch squares, and this piece is 2 wide by 7 tall. And I'm just going to join these 3 pieces. Now we have this. That goes right there. Now let's do these two. This one is 3.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall. And this is 7.5 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall. Like that. We have this. If you're off a little bit, you know you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, right? Right. Let's put these 3 pieces together. Just feel like doing it this way. Right here, we have 4.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. Right here, 4.5 inches wide by 4 inches tall. This one, 4.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. We're just going to join those 3. And we have this. Now we can just start putting this puzzle together. We're going to start by joining this strip to our specialty block. And remember, you don't have to have the sailboat here. You would just need a piece of fabric that is 9 wide by 10 tall. And we're going to go like that. And if you have something like from a panel, but it's not quite 9 by 10, it could be 5 by 5, whatever. Add fabric to it wherever you need to, and then trim it to 9 by 10. And you can use it there. It's okay if you have more pieces than I do. We have this. Now we're going to sew the top to this block. Right there. And we have this. And you might say, why do you have a flower print like this? You know, a lot of florals, when it's a sailboat. Because it's a scrappy quilt block. And the whole idea behind that is you're using your scraps, and sometimes our scraps don't make sense. Which makes perfect sense. Scrappy, use whatever prints and colors you have on hand. Now we can attach this here. And I know, it doesn't look like it's going to fit, but it will because of the seam allowances. I'm a little bit crooked there. I'm just going to deal with it. Like this. Sewing right there. Now even though this is a little bit crooked, I'm just going to eyeball it and sew a straight line. It all works. I think I did a very good job eyeballing. That worked out great. You don't have to eyeball it. I could have trimmed that and made it perfectly straight, but I still might sew in a crooked way, right? So I don't care. But if you think you can't sew a straight line on a crooked piece of fabric, then go ahead and trim it. And you might say, oh, my 2-inch square, it's not square anymore. What did I do wrong? Nothing. It's because it's taking into account that there's going to be another seam here. So it's going to end up being square after it's sewn to something else. But in this case, this is going to be the 3rd block in a row. So this end is going to end up being snipped or whatever because of the border. I don't know what I'm doing for a border yet. Beautiful, perfect. Now we're going to add this piece here and we'll be done. And again, at this point, if you wanted to and you don't have directional prints, you could swap that out if you want. If you think the colors go better in that direction or your prints, but I'm going with this. All right, there. And we are done, the quilt block. This one is probably the best one that I've done. I mean, everything seems to be even. I didn't trim anything, so I enjoyed that. And I really love my little sailboat because I drew the sketch and I worked from that. Even though the sail is crooked, I'm good with that. It's just, it's so fun. I really do love this series, even though it's the most stressful series I've ever done because I have to do a lot of steps. The specialty block, that can be very stressful, and then I have to do the big stitch quilting, but this one won't take too much quilting because this piece is so big and I don't quilt through that. Now, since it is big and there'll be, batting there, I might, I don't know, maybe even with some clear thread, put a couple of stitches here and there just to, attach it a little bit to the batting. I don't know. I'll let you know after I do that, and that will be the next video. That usually takes me a couple of days to do because I just have to sit down and do that. I do the quilting and then I show it to you, and then it'll be attached in the 3rd row. It's going to be the 3rd block in the 3rd row, and you'll see all that in the next video. I have lots of fabric on eBay. I have lots of scrap packs. They are all new fabrics that I buy specifically to cut as scrap packs. It's a way to get a lot of different colors or prints in one pack without having to buy a whole lot of yardage. I don't know exactly what I have on eBay right now, but there's a link in the description of this video, and you can go check out my eBay store and see what I have. And I guess that's about it. Do subscribe so you see the next episode and you see what the big stitch quilting looks like on this one. If you have questions, watch this series. I'm sure I've covered everything by now. And you just need to watch from the beginning and you'll learn, what we're doing here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.